Welcome everyone. Vicky that's here on the live, those that are on Facebook. We are on Facebook Live, and those that are catching the replay, welcome to GMB Pros. As you guys know, William and I's goal of GMB Pros is twofold. One is to help you grow your agency, get more clients, or two is help get the current clients that you have better results, right? And from time to time, we'll cover different subjects, mindset, accounting, transitions, and we'll have different topics that we'll cover to help accomplish those goals that we have for GMP Pros. So we'll bring on guests so we can do over the shoulder life experience, talk about being in the trenches, and just different experiences that we have. So today's guest, my man Drew, my man Mr. Paul Drew, on this show today. So this guy I met, I don't know, a couple events ago, and we really hit it off, and he kind of like, hey, took me under his shoulder, if that's the right word, took me under his wings, and I asked him a couple questions. In fact, it was in Vegas the first time we met, and I already was a fan of Drews. In fact, we talked about you yesterday with James. Somebody asked me a question that James covered. Hey, how do you find clients that are on the PCs that do PPC? I'm like, dude, Paul just covered that. I'm gonna have him tomorrow. Look at it. And I shot over the YouTube video. Guys, SEO video show on YouTube. Make sure those that are on the replay, if like they say, if you've been living under a rock and you don't know about Drew's YouTube channel, make sure we show him some love from the GMB Pros family. Follow him on there, give him some hours, give him some likes, give him some comments, and make sure you say, Alfredo, send me over, GMB Pro, send me over. But I was already a fan of Drew, just his style. Guys, you will not see another production. You will not see another YouTube channel the way Paul presents, right? With his explosions, with his rewind and his introduction. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So I was already a big fan. And when I saw him, man, really cool, down to earth. He's in California. He's in North Cali. I'm in Southern Cali. And, he just gave me some tips. I ran with them and we met up again in Arizona, gave me some more tips. Really, really cool guy, guys. Knowledge panel, got the, in fact, a lot of the styles that I take, Drew is part of Drew's tip and that he's given me throughout the years. So Drew, like if you can kind of take me back, first of all, welcome to GMB Pros. I appreciate you, man. I
Oh yeah.
appreciate your time. Welcome.
Yep.
If you can kind of give me your journey, how you got into this marketing world, from consultant or where you're at now, like what broke you into the scene and kind of the journey that's taking you on now.
Yes, yes. Thank you again, Alfredo, for having me on. Hello, GMB Pros. I just want to introduce myself. My name is Paul Andre de Vera, aka Dre, and what I do is I've gotten to SEO over about 15 years now. About 20 I've been doing digital marketing for about 20 years, creating websites since 1997. So that's something that I've always been doing. But when I learned about SEO and knew the value of it was when I was a party promoter back when I was in college, right? So I had a website, I was one of the few promotion companies that had a website, and a lot of my traffic were coming from Google, and I was able to see that, they were searching for San Francisco parties, San Francisco guest list, San Francisco nightlife. And I was like, okay, there's something going on here. So I decided to kind of use that as a trigger for me to look more into this marketing channel. I mean, at first, I'm a developer, a web designer, graphic designer at first. So I was designing all my flyers and stuff like that. But then again, it's slowly transitioned to becoming a full-time SEO. After that, so I had other businesses that I ran I was ranking number one for streetwear. So I had a streetwear company back in 2006 to 2010, and being number one for streetwear, I had my brand in over 200 retail stores, and I also had my own store out in Berkeley and Telegraph Avenue. Again,
Wow.
yeah, so SEO was something that really drove that business. And so many celebrities were using our gear, and we had like a partnership with a lot of MTV shows, so you'd see a lot of our gear on MTV shows back then. And it was all through, I believe, SEO. Like, and people were searching like streetwear or just like cool streetwear trends, and we popped up number one. So that was kind of like more of my entrepreneurial journey. And I met someone, and she was like, hey, you know what, you can actually do this for some huge companies, right? And it's like, oh, really? And I never thought about it, so I kind of like started applying for some jobs. Like, I got my first corporate job back in 2011, and that when I first got that gig, I was like, wow, you can make a lot more doing this for huge companies. And then when as it goes, as you learn the corporate life and your corporate journey, it's all about like really either getting promoted. If you don't get promoted after a couple of years, it's time to move on into another company. And usually when you move on to another company, you get a big bump in salary, right? So I did that a few times, and then I ended up just maybe just actually a couple of years ago, that trend actually came to an end when I was actually unfortunately laid off. Right. I mean, it was actually really a hard time at the time because I just bought a new house. So I had two properties, and I bought a new house, and I was going through a full remodel, like complete remodel of my house. So I like all the money I saved up for that, I had to like I didn't want to stop my remodel when it was halfway done, right? So like I had to pull my savings, take out some loans, and then at the same time I was trying to apply for all these jobs, and it was hard. It was hard. I mean, this could be another. We can talk about this later of how I was able to get interviews and get into more late stage interviews, and how I was able to get recruiters to find me. But for the most part, during these times, like right now, within the past 2 years, for SEOs in the corporate market has been pretty hard. I mean, for me, but I do have huge experiences at huge companies where it's Dropbox, Workday, SAP, like these huge companies and tech companies I've worked for that had prestigious brand names, but I still wasn't getting hired. And it kind of like, after a year of applying and getting to all these interviews, it's pretty, it's toll taking, and I wasn't making any money. I literally, when you talk about like personal growth and all that stuff and like investments, one of the best investments I made were into comic books and gold, right? So I was able to like get by, reselling some of my comic books and reselling some of my gold bars, and that was one of the things that I was able to kind of do. But again, another thing that I was able to do while I was at my corporate job was, I had a little side thing going on. And I started this about 3 years ago. Well, actually, almost 4 years now. This is going to be the fourth year. And it was called the SEO Video Show. And the SEO Video Show was was actually more of a hobby. It was something I wanted to do to network with people, network with people online and be able to we were all stuck at home, right? We couldn't get out. And I was like, man, this is kind of the perfect time to start a show. And some people may refer to it as a podcast, but I like to refer it as a show because, as you mentioned, it's very visual. There's a lot of sound effects, and there's like a lot of overlays and stuff like that. So it's more of a show, and there's kind of like a structure to it. And that's one of the things where it's like, if it was going to be a podcast, you won't get the full effect. So, but I do have a podcast, which is kind of a summary of the episode with me reading it out. So that's kind of like my podcast version. So I do have a podcast that is actually attached to the SEO Video Show. But, by having that within the past 3 years and getting laid off about 2 years ago was something that really, really built my personal brand, right? This is something where I was able to decide and pivot after a year of going through interviews and not getting a job. Actually, I was like, I'm going to spend my time finding clients, like reaching out to clients and reaching out to my network. Again, this is huge because when I reached out to my network, these are people that are still at big companies and tech companies, and sometimes they move on to another companies or even startups. And I reached out to them and said like, hey, like if you guys need some help with SEO, let me know. So I reached out to everyone. And of course, again, don't be afraid to ask for help. I mean, your colleagues, the people that are willing to help you out regardless, right? Unless you're living in a total shady world where people just have that crabbing effect and just don't care. But generally, if you have a genuine network of friends and great people like yourself, it's one of those things where you can really, really ask with no shame and kind of like, see if they can help you out. And I would have to say like maybe like more than half, I'd say like 70% of my clients right now are from like working with old colleagues again. So like I'm working with old bosses, working with old teammates, and they're working at different companies now where they're like either a manager and able to like kind of bring me on as a consultant, and then so that's how I'm able to kind of go into have clients that have like decent brand names. I can't mention a few of them because I have an NDA, but I mean there's some great clients that I work with right now that I could only have gotten through like my network. I mean, I'll stop there. I mean, there's so much to unpack there, but I
Yes,
mean,
yes.
but there's so much more I can actually share with what's going on right now. But
Uh,
if you want to take anything back, I mean, let me know.
yeah, yeah. Let's rewind here a little bit because I think there's a lot to say when it comes to adversity, right?
Oh
Like
yeah,
what comes out on the other side, man, it feels so dark and so depressing, in adversity, like yourself, you got laid off, middle of a remodel. And this is like, who's Paul? Who's the SEO video show? Like as a person, right? This is stuff that we don't hear, which I love it, right? We
mm-hmm.
can kind of connect a little more. If you can unpack that and take us back to that time, like I remember when I met you in Vegas, and
Yeah.
bro, did you picture the YouTube channel when you first started it 3 years ago like that? It would be such a great connection, such an awesome community. And I think more than anything, as crazy and sideways how this marketing
Mm-hmm.
SEO world can be, that there's a little like show, like it's not little, but like the SEO video show that brings positivity and brings different perspectives, and the way you do it, that's fun, that's
Mm-hmm.
exciting. um so I know I said a lot, but if you can take us
Oh yeah,
back, right? If you can
yeah,
take us back to that adversity,
yep.
as like, did you ever imagine this is what's going to be on the other side? How did you like persevere? How did you
Mm-hmm.
pivot? How did like,
Yep.
why
That's
didn't you give up? Like,
I'll tell you why. I mean, I guess it's in my nature because I hit rock bottom 3 times in my life. Back in 2006, when I bought my first house, I foreclosed it in the 2008 crash, right? And then and then um, and then after that, I was able to bounce back 3x harder and was able to again, do some great things and then start some businesses. And then after that, I had my own apartment and everything like that. Then I had a gambling problem back then as well. After that, so I hit rock bottom again. I had to move back to my parents' house when I was I think like 35 or 36 or something like that, right? And so then I saved up again, and then was able to like really take chances on like with startups, and be able to like kind of like understand like it's a gamble if you move from a great company to a startup, right? So it's one of those things where so like back in when I lost when I had that gambling problem or whatever it was, and moved back, and you learn from that. You have to learn from it. If you don't learn from like what you're doing and all your bad habits, man, you'll be stuck in the same place. But so every time I hit adversity, every time I hit rock bottom, I rewind and kind of really do learn from it, like learn from my mistakes. And one thing from each one of those times, you even noticed this when you saw me at Arizona, it's like take care of your health. Like I lost maybe from the first time you saw me out in Las Vegas, I was like 200 something pounds or something, and then I lost like over 35 pounds when the next time I saw you, like in Arizona. And I felt the moment I decided to like take care of my health back in January as a resolution to the time of today, like 5 months, between then and 5 months, I've actually gained the most clients within this last 5 months than I did the past year. So I feel like there's something connected with being healthy, you have more confidence, you're doing more, you're doing extra, waking up early, using those extra hours, and you are able to kind of really kind of, take yourself to the next level.
love it. I love it. Wes Watson teaches, preparing yourself, making the best version of yourself, operating within your gift is what I believe.
Mm.
And then the way like Wes takes it another level to be able to present it to the world. Like you made the best version of yourself and you presented it to the world, and you like got the most amount of clients. So I
Yep.
definitely believe that and love it, and how to pull through uh, diversity, the darkness, work
Yeah.
on yourself,
Yeah.
fitness, don't give up, don't be afraid to ask for help. So I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you
It's
took
definitely, yeah.
you took that moment, you took your skill, right? You have
Yep.
product line, you were successful within your own right, 200 stores, your clothing line, that's freaking badass.
Mhm.
You know, you had, you know, the different promotions onto page one. You decided to, you know, go into like did you go into consulting first or did you do
No,
in-house SEO first?
it was in-house. So I was doing SEO for myself,
Got it.
and then you know, someone I was dating at the time, she was like, you know, you can actually do that for big companies. They pay you top dollar. and
Nice.
and and I mean, I probably ended my well. I mean, I'm saying right now because I don't think I'm going to go back to a 9 to 5. I feel like I think I'm sticking to consulting unless someone offers me God's amount of money and shares to be in a corporate environment. But right now, I feel like you know I've topped out at around 260k a year as an SEO consultant, and I feel like that was actually kind of my disadvantage because I was talking to other SEOs that were kind of like high level SEOs that's been doing this for quite some time, and they said around that's just kind of the salary that like you know people will only make, and if you want to make more you're gonna have to start consulting or doing other things or like or you, it would have been hard for you. That's why he was saying it was hard for me to get a job because no one's gonna pay that starting salary at a new company or whatever. Just for, from my my understanding. I mean, that's one of the reasons what people are saying. Like, man, I can't believe you can't get a gig. And I really actually started applying to jobs that were actually kind of like uh, offering much less, like a lot less, because I was getting desperate. You know, I'm running out of gold bars here.
Yeah.
so you know, I was able to just like you know, I need to pivot, and I built assets. I started like my Dre.ai. I just started building things just so I had something tangible to like do while I'm just stuck at home, right? I did a lot more videos for my SEO video show. I wasn't just lives, right? Because at first it was lives, and I started doing more. And now that I'm so busy, I barely do any other videos on the SEO video show. It's more of just on my live streams now. Like like it's just been that busy for me where I'm, you know, I feel blessed that I am that busy. But again, it's one of those things where if you keep building yourself, building assets, and you know, kind of working on your skills. You mentioned skills. So during this time, I was actually laid off. I decided to even look into other industries. You know, I'm a smart guy, so I always wanted to get into real estate. I own a couple of properties, and I said, you know what, I wanted to do real estate investing. So I went and took my test, got my license, got my realtor, you know, my Dre number, and was able to. I'm a licensed real estate agent right now. And at the same time, I was like, man, I haven't sold the house yet. Like I got so busy that when I pivoted and like you know, starting to find more clients, I was like, man. And plus, the housing market is just not that great right now. But I just wanted to have that accomplishment of doing something within that year that makes me felt really good. Like, you know, like, hey, I can call myself a realtor because I have, you know, a license right now. So I was able to build more
Yes.
skills. I feel like, you know, like I always tell this to other people, skills pay the bills. The more skills you know, it'll help you out within your career and your path.
Now, if can you tell me more as far as that mindset that you had to like at the beginning, especially, right?
Mhm.
To apply for those big jobs, apply for the bigger companies, like your girlfriend at the time. You know, you can go for these. Like we always think small company, like we limit ourselves.
Mhm.
Our how can I say, our belief in ourselves is our limit, right? If we
Mhm.
have a higher esteem, higher value of ourselves, like yeah, I can get
Yep.
the bigger companies, the Cokes and
Yep.
all these bigger whatever, whoever they are, right?
Yep.
Fortune 500, Fortune 100 companies.
Yep.
Can you unpack that a little more? Can you tell me more that mindset that you're like, yeah, I can do this, like that?
Oh well, like I mentioned, it actually took some like having a partner at the time to be that motivator, and a lot of people kind of talk about this having a, you know, whether it's a wife, or girlfriend that actually can motivate you and like push you and like you know, understand like something that you can't see yourself and like put it out
Yes.
there, like pushes you. Like, and you know, she was actually, I mean, because she, I believe she was just helping me every time with my resume, all that stuff, like you know, kind of like really pushing me to do it. So I was like, okay, I mean, it doesn't hurt. And so, you know, I was able to really do that. And of course, at the time, I was going. You know, there was still a lot of interviews I went through. Right. I mean, it wasn't an easy thing. Like people think you don't get picky when you apply for jobs, especially for like big companies. Apply for every single one that you see because you're gonna need practice interviewing. You're gonna need practice, like you know, seeing how you move up the level. You're gonna see. You know, like how to experience that by applying to a bunch of them. Because if you make your pool of just applying to like 5 companies and only 5 companies you like, I mean, you know, that's not you're not selling yourself that great because you want to like even though it's a company that you don't like, use it as practice. If they, take it, if you, interview you, right, and get feedback from them. And one of the things I want to give this a quick tip, for those that are in the corporate world right now, or like looking to go in the corporate world, make sure you like connect with recruiters, and like when stay like great friends with them, because I moved up twice twice or maybe even three times in my career with one recruiter. One recruiter was like, actually, when he moved to another company, he goes, "Hey," he was the first person I thought of, and then he brought me on to that company, right? So again, this is like really about really understanding who you're friends with. I mean, as you know, like I'm a very friendly person. I'm very like charismatic, and I like really love hanging out and being like cool with other folks and networking. So that's like, networking within your own company is huge. Networking with other people on departments, whether it's whether it's HR, recruiters, or even like other divisions, whether you want to get into like if it's web dev or anything like that. So that's kind of something you should definitely do if you're trying to move up in the corporate world.
Awesome, awesome. So love it, man. I take that value of finding a partner that levels you up, that's constantly pushing you, especially to take you out of that jar so you can see the label, right? When you're in that storm, like take yourself out of the eye of the storm, like, okay, I see over here, coverage over there, but constantly improve it. Love it. So you get a few jobs under you. So the moral of the story is, I'm taking it, you didn't do one interview, right? And landed that one, right? So, and I learned this. This is how I learned my gift. That's how I found my gift. Back in high school, one of my first jobs, I interviewed. I bombed it. I did like everything that you're not supposed to do, I did. And I walked away telling myself, I'm never gonna feel that feeling again. So I read books, I practiced. And back then we didn't have YouTube or nothing like that. So I practiced, got these questions. And then what I did is help friends with resumes, interviewing. And in fact, that was one of my first businesses, was resume writing, prepping people on an interview and placing them. I would get them in the door, and then it was up to them through all the practices to get the job. And so that's how that's my gift, is elevating those around me. So love it. So guys, it's through the failures. Like, I think one of the things that we can take from Paul here is like, it's through the diversities coming out on the other side is, what did we learn, and polish that for sure. Moving
polish
forward.
practice is key, right? You need to practice, like I said, practice in your interviewing, and like really like understanding your own career story. Like, make sure you have your own pitch, your own 3 minutes pitch of your own career story. I mean, again, if you this is for all the people that are looking into in the corporate world, and having like case studies and statistics on your LinkedIn, building your own case studies, that what you've done for other companies. Because right now it's like, you couldn't go to school for SEO, right? It's all about your achievements and like how long you've been. That's what really like sells yourself if you're interviewing for other companies.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That is awesome. So you did some in-house, you had some jobs, corporate SEO. Like you said, you were capped out. You were building your YouTube channel. You found some success. And how was that transition? Is that when you got let go, as far as when you went into the consultant?
Yeah, so check this out. I was at a great company for over 4 years, and the reason why I decided to kind of take that gamble, because I did this gamble of like, going to a startup, is because I had a great manager at another company trying to bring me to his new startup, the startup that he would join. I was like, oh yeah, I'll go. I mean, I would love to work for you again, right? And obviously, I became like a lead and was able to like manage a lot more things and stuff like that. But again, this happened like 2 years ago. Even till this day, like there's still a lot of tech layoffs going on. I mean, in the tech industry. It's huge, right? And that's something where I took the gamble for the startup. I'll tell you this, like I got laid off 6 months after I was hired. I was like, what? I was shocked. I've been at companies, I've never gotten laid off in my life, and there was like I survived other hardships at other companies where they were laying off a lot of people, but because of my skill set and what I was able to deliver, like, I was kept on board. And this is the first time where it's like, I didn't survive this one. And, they kind of pretty much, they got rid of my manager 3 months after I joined. So I was like, oh man, this is not a good sign. And then, yeah, It happened. I was laid off. It was kind of a shock because I thought I was doing a lot for them at the time too. Like, I was hoping that they saw it. And I'll tell you this: if you're a great worker, hard worker, and you over deliver, like I didn't think I was gonna get laid off, and because I thought they saw my hard work, which I'll tell you, they did, but it's again, you can't if they had to make cuts, you have to make cuts, right?
Mhm.
I'll check this out. It's been about 2 years since I was laid off, and just this week, that same company is now, I'm doing consulting for that same company again. So it's like, I'm telling you, when you do great work, they'll come back when they're ready. They'll come back to you. So when you over deliver, and whether you're a corporate or even for a client or even during interviews, here's a little related story through an interview. When I actually was interviewing after 1 year, after during that 1 year span, I interviewed for this one company, and I didn't make the cut, right? But I over delivered on my presentation for this interview. They remembered me a year later, within just a few months ago, which I got hired, which I am now like consulting for this huge company, which I believe but I can't mention it here. But I mean, this is one of those things where it's like they called me back after like, over delivering on my interview because they remembered me. So I'm telling you this: there's a book called Over Deliver. It's by, I can't remember the the author, but over delivering is something that is a skill that you should learn, and kind of like a mindset to do. Try to do more than what's asked, right? I mean, but don't overpromise, but just like kind of like underpromise, over deliver. But I mean, at the same time, when you're doing it for other things, that if they ask for one certain thing, do one thing extra. Just make that one thing stand out by doing one thing extra. Like make it. If it's just a presentation, make sure your presentation looks nice and well designed, right? Maybe even hire, like, if you're not a great designer. I mean, I was fortunate enough, again, one of my skill sets was a designer, so I made my presentation pretty. I made sure, like, I had like all the nice, like, little, like, effects that went on during my interview, and just trying to have that little sound effects, visual effects, anything that I knew, I applied it to my interview, and it just was like giving that wow factor.
Yes, yeah, 100%, man. You're speaking my love language there, as far as like, operating your gift, over deliver, um, and you will shine, you will grow, you will open up opportunities. Um, if we can kind of, Dre, if we
Yep.
can kind of take it to like, okay, you're getting all these
Yep.
gigs, your self-improvement, taking it back a little bit, if you can unbox the networking,
Yep. Yep.
right? I'm sure the channel,
Yeah.
helps, I'm sure the people you have within the channel works, and these events, and
Hmm.
man, everybody knows Paul, right? And
Hmm.
it's just awesome, you know, that networking. Any pro tips, anybody just starting, that fear,
Hmm.
I think I know part of your answer, but I would like to take it from your point of view, from the beginning to now,
Hmm.
like how to connect the dots as far as networking with people
Hmm.
and
I'll tell you
growing
this.
them.
I mean, I believe it or not, I was very introverted. I'm like one of those things where I was very introverted, and I was able to, like, kind of gain the confidence. Again, it's through, like, your health and everything, just being really confident in yourself and be able to, like, practice talking to people. I actually did something called Toastmasters, which has helped me become a better public speaker. If you guys don't know what Toastmasters is, it's a public speaking club that you can join, and you can practice public speaking, practice to stop saying ums, ahs, you knows, and so's, and all those filler words, but being able to really speak clearly and communicate clearly and being able to network clearly. Yeah, that's one of the things where I was able to start going to learning how to network, being able to talk to people. And this is like being able to talk to people within your own the company, or wherever you're at. Again, this is something, I am naturally charismatic, but it doesn't mean that it means that I'm like just go up to anybody, right? So here's one tip: when I go to, like even conferences, right? There's either conferences, like, always, like, one of my skill set is photography, and it's one thing. So I always, even if it's not my events or any other events, I always bring my camera and just take pictures, and then it becomes something that you really have, and people are curious about. Oh, what are those pictures for? Okay, oh, the SEO video show, or what, if it's for like an event that I didn't get hired for, like, I will go to Google events, right? Shoot pictures, and then people will just talk to me, or also the time. And then if you have a personal brand or a show, being able to always wear your logo, that something's recognizable, because people will then come up to you. When it, even when I was doing my nightclubs, I was an event promoter, right? since people know who I was, it was really easy for me to network. They just came up to me saying what's up or whatever, gets get some drink tickets, get on the gas list, whatever that is. But you're having like a whether it's your company, like I say, consider you like your brand the party. Like you are the owner of that party, and you are people are want to go to your party because of you, right? And it'll be easier for you to network by having your own personal brand and being able to put out a logo. There's even certain things that are like Randy, the news guy, he actually what his one thing that made him stood out at a conference was his backpack. Did you see his backpack? It was like this LED backpack where it had his logo. Like if you want press releases, contact him. And then of course it's easy to go up to him, like, oh, I love your backpack. Oh, let me check out your press releases. Being able to like really, really brand yourself, like not necessarily personal brand, but brand yourself, like be a walking billboard of the stuff you do, and being able to like talk to people, having that one unique item. I know one thing I would do even at interviews. I use this tip too. Like I would wear this really nice bracelet. It was like this nice jaded bracelet, and it became like the interviewee like, oh, that's a great bracelet. That's one of those things where you have something that sticks out. Like another interview, I brought a book where it said no ego. I was reading it. I mean, I was pretend reading it in the lobby, but I had it, and I kind of had it and sat it down on the table. This is once we're still doing in-person interviews, and then they're like, "Oh, I love that, no ego, yeah, that's me, no ego." And so that's one of the things where bringing that one thing to stand out and have that talking point at networking events, interviews will help you really, really break the ice. That's one of the things that it's all about, breaking the ice. Some people are just scared going up to someone. But if they see something, breaking that ice is easy if you make it easy for them.
Yeah, 100%. That's so very true as far as standing out, building your brand. I know Randy, right? And like, I remember the day I met him, like it was yesterday. And it's really, guys, is just saying hello, right?
Mm-hmm.
How I met you.
Yep.
Dre,
Yep.
hey,
Yep.
man, what's up, brother? I'm a fan of your show, love it. That's when I was just starting off with GMP Pros, with William and whatnot, and gave me some tips. And the crazy part, the Randys, the Paul, even the Williams, and all these great, Mike Marlino, and as charismatic as he is,
Yep.
right? And Brett over at Mindsaw, guys that
Oh yeah.
were big, that literally you just say hi to them, be sincere, operating your gift, operating like be you, and they open up like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to do this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I've done. And they'll come in and polish you and guide you like, hey, don't make these mistakes. And they'll thrust you
Yep.
forward years, right?
Yep.
Years, because they see what you're doing. You ask them questions, you're sincere, and they'll
Mm-hmm.
help you. Like Paul or Randy's one of them, like with press releases,
Yep.
really gave me the insight on that, press releases.
Yep.
Really
Yep.
knowledgeable guy. And as far as networking, and for sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't be scared to go up to people.
Yep.
Just say hello.
Yeah, you are at a conference where you all have the same, you like the same things. You're there for an SEO, learn SEO, and the speakers are there to teach it. So of course they're willing to help. And SEO, the SEO industry in general has been always been friendly. Like everyone's willing to help. You'll see maybe you'll see some SEOs just battle about tactics and stuff like that. Like, oh, that doesn't work, stuff like that. I was like, I mean, I don't. Again, with my mindset, I don't like creating arguments. If someone says my tactic doesn't work, I'm like, whatever, don't do it then. let me keep on doing it. Like some people just say things to like say like oh that doesn't work, and I'm like, okay, that's as long as you're not doing it, it makes and I'm doing it. I know it works for my stuff. Makes my competition a lot weaker. You know.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Um, well, if we can unpack a little bit, so in consulting,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
as scary as that might be for some, if you can rewind it back, like into
Um,
skill set,
oh yeah.
you're in the marketing. A lot of the
Mhm.
people watching the shows are in marketing. Um, do you feel like when you did your in-house and you all these networks on your show that you have, is there three core, like, if you could share like three main
Um,
things, like your question,
yeah.
is it the same core? What are the three things that how to rank number one on Google with
Yeah.
all
I was
these
just.
different niches, with all these
Yep.
different startups and big companies? Does it really change much? Or what are three skills within marketing
Hmm.
that are very transferable, that are like best practices. Like, hey, this doesn't change no matter where you go.
Hmm.
Do
Yeah, yeah.
you?
Of course. Again, this is something where you need to learn is the soft skill of being able to speak, because you're gonna have once you I'm able to sell clients now because I can speak about a certain topic really really well. So you really and when you're in a corporate environment, learning how to speak and give presentations to leadership is very important. I actually was not offered a promotion just because I couldn't speak clearly to leadership, and I was that's what I was like ended up moving to another company. I was like, okay, I can't grow here again. So being able to, and that's when I actually took the initiative. Okay, I know I can't speak. Someone told me I can't speak. I can't get this promotion. What can I do to become a better speaker? I took Toastmasters. I found the club Toastmasters, learned about it, and was able to um, get past that. Again, I've talked about no ego. Ego is huge. Ego set me back a few back before, like there's some things again, like that ego of not applying to more than the other companies that you don't want. You throw that away. If anyone has any feedback for you, take it as constructive, whether it's talking crap about you or whatever. They're saying it for a reason. Just think about it. Maybe they may be like just talking crap, but just kind of step back and like, why did they say that, right? So this one of the things, like being able to have like no egos, is really, really kind of put that aside, and that growth mindset, right? That's one of the things that's really, really helped me really go excel and pass, like whether it's getting promotions or moving to better companies or even getting clients, is because I want to do more. Some people are satisfied working at a one well-paying job, right? But I talk about this is what was able to launch my consulting career, was having side gigs. Like I was able to, one of the companies I was working for was okay with me working with other companies as long as they're not competitors, right? So I was already starting, I had one or two clients, making decent side money. And these were old colleagues from other companies. And that's why when you're in the corporate game for quite some time, you'll meet a lot of people. You'll be remembered again if you over deliver. And one of the books I'd say that changed my mindset was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And there was one other book that I really really loved, was by Dale Carnegie. Dale Carnegie was How to Win Friends and Influence People. That's one of the two books that kind of changed my life, where I was able to pivot onto doing a lot of great things.
Absolutely. Um, so speaking, right, I think that's an amazing
Yeah.
skill set, because it's in sales, it's in corporate, is in your clients, that everywhere translate. Ego mindset, right? Have that growth mindset. Take uh criticism,
Yeah.
feedback. If somebody's talking crap, do they have a point? Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe they don't know how to deliver it, but taking that and building on it. And then again, I think that slides into growth mindset, which is awesome.
Yep, yep. Again, what everything applies to marketing. Again, understanding what you're being an expert and learning what your skill set, sharpening that, whether it's SEO, whether it's like product marketing, whatever, just being that hardcore expert in it, and like knowing how to do certain things, like being that go to, because you become the subject matter expert. There's going to be someone from a different team, maybe not even marketing, like, oh, who's our SEO guy? You have some questions to become that subject matter expert that everyone that goes to. So being able to like really sharpen your skills, and don't be a jack of many. You want a master of none. You want to be able to be who you are. Because check this out. This is what kind of the reason why I feel like I didn't go become a realtor, because I got back into marketing. So I was thinking, like I wanted to do more marketing, and so I was thinking like maybe how I can tie the two together. So I was like, probably most likely we'll start doing marketing for realtors, and because now I have the authority, like I'm not no ordinary agency trying to do marketing for or SEO for a realtor. I can say, hey, I'm a realtor myself. I can help you do your SEO and stuff like that. So again, adding that extra badge, that extra skill set, and sharpening your skills will help you and get launch a lot of things.
Awesome, awesome. As we close this up, what consultant, what does that mean? Is that like white labeling for people? Is that just like giving your opinion on something?
Mm-hmm.
What does that really mean?
Okay.
Like, you talked about different companies,
Mm-hmm.
they're all essentially your clients,
Yep.
but what's the difference between having an agency,
Yep.
doing it yourself, and then consulting? What does
Okay.
that look like?
This is my selling point for people who are moving off of agencies, because I've actually had two potential. Actually, I closed one today just in my first presentation, but I have two clients that have the first thing they start off with is that they're firing their agency. And so my selling point every single time is like the best thing that you have with me is as your consultant, you're working with me. You're gonna be only like everything I do is something that I will be doing myself, right? I will be the ones in the meetings. I will be that extra arm, your extra arm on your team as the SEO person. You know, consider me as like your fractional SEO. Like you can come to me for anything. So that's I'm kind of like selling like my services as a consultant by doing that. But there is a very very um, roadblock there, right? Because you're only one person. Once you reach a certain amount of clients, you can't be everywhere, right? So that's why I made in the beginning of this call. I don't know if it was recorded or if it was when we were talking in the very, very beginning, but I really feel like working on my consultancy right now. Maybe 3 or 4 more clients. I'm gonna have to open up an agency. I'm gonna have to hire some people. You know, I'm gonna have to have other front-facing people if this is gonna keep on going like this. But again, I did not expect like all the clients and referrals I'm getting at the moment. And when you are looking for clients, and again, I'm getting a lot of referrals, and you know what's from the most unexpected places. I actually got a referral from Twitter. So like when you post everywhere, post your content from everywhere. Like I have YouTube. Like I never would have thought I would have got a good paying client from Twitter. I'm like, okay, cool. And then Facebook. It was one of my own friends gave me a referral today because they saw my content on Facebook, right? So they're like, oh, I know you did. Like I see that you're doing SEO. It's like one of those things where it's like unexpected places are one of the great places to get the most clients. So be able to create content, maybe one place, whether it's YouTube is your main place, but make sure you distribute it everywhere because you'll never know who sees it. And it doesn't cost you anything. It gives you maybe cost you time to upload and stuff like that. But come on now, like again, have that growth mindset, be hungry and be able to go ahead and just do that.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So with consultant, is it just you, hey, do this and they do it?
Yeah,
Or
yep. For the most
okay.
part, it's a mixture. It's a mixture. So like, let's say I'm doing like a meta tile refresh to increase CTR, right? So I would give them samples and then I would just send it off to their dev team. Okay, update these right here, and then let's do this for a couple weeks and let's see how it changes. And then like that's one thing, right? Being able to do that, creating content briefs and finding the topics. So I send that to them. Well, I will define the topics and create the content briefs with all the different tools that we have, and then send it to their writers. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right there. Being able to create the strategy of what they're doing, and then executing it by providing them the recommendations and briefs that they will have their team implement themselves.
Love it. And I'm imagining that your process, your checklist, your workflow, it's been an accumulation of all these years at different companies, seeing
Yeah.
what works and like, hey, this is my winning formula.
Yeah. That's something I have my own go-to winning formula, especially in the B2B space. So that's something I need to really kind of write it down so I can, once I have that written down, I can again hire people to help me do this. But that's one of my weak points that I'm going to work on. I've been watching, like tomorrow I'm interviewing Gregory Ortiz, and he talks about processes and being able to like create these SOPs.
Love that guy.
I'm gonna like really like pay attention there because he will he had his presentation on at the SEO spring training.
Yeah.
But I wasn't, we weren't able to like kind of ask that many questions. But now I'm able to like take a lot of see his deck and ask him all the questions that I have, and being able to kind of be a little selfish and stuff that I want to do, right? So that's one of the things. So if you guys are interested on processes, I think I have a great back-to-back. So I had like, James Lattery just last week on how to prospect to get these people, which is a great episode, by the way.
Yes.
I learned a lot from that episode. And now that once you got these clients, is being able to retain them. The retention and the processes that you need to do is going to be the kind of second part of it, which is Gregory Ortiz is going to do tomorrow, which I feel is going to be awesome episode.
Guys, so if you don't know, as you hop onto Paul's YouTube channels every Friday at noon, dropping bombs, and Gregory Ortiz is one of those dudes. I met same thing in Arizona. I fell in love with what like his thought process, his like KPIs and how to look at a business. And then the way, speaking of speaking, the way he describes it and delivers that so easy and so softly. Like, oh my God, I need this to hear more of this guy, and I should reach out to him and get him on my show. But yes, every Friday, tomorrow, Gregory Ortiz it's an excellent speaker. I think you have a great value, just like James. And the crazy part is yesterday, somebody asked me something. That's why I tell everybody, stay connected. I saw your show. I know James. Obviously, I know you. I saw, and he just dropped 3 little bombs that like somebody asked him, like the first person I thought it was your show. I went, shared that link and I said, hey, go look at this. It answers your question. Follow Paul.
Thank you.
So yeah, big guys, follow him, GMB Pros that are catching the replay. He has a lot of great stuff. You'll have fun not only watching it. It's not boring like mine, right?
No, it's not boring at all. You got a great personality, and I love the way you connect. Right? I mean, you're a great listener. Like right now, you are repeating back what I said. I was like, wow, I said that. It's actually coming out of my. I was like, oh yeah, I did say that. But I mean, being able to be that person of understanding their guest and being able to bring out the most out of them, like how you are doing with me right now. You're bringing out the most of the things that I probably never said at any other interviews, right? It's by being that great personal that you are, and being able to kind of like have great interview skills and being able to do that and bring it out from anyone.
Yeah, and I give a lot of credit to you guys. Like I remember in Nevada, Las Vegas, like unpacking somebody that way and tell me more. Love it.
Yeah, I can tell you more, right? See, depending on what we start talking about, I can go further into that. But it's whatever you want. You're a great, great interviewer where you can guide the conversation and you're able to like get all these nuggets. Being able to have people share secrets, because sometimes people will share things on my show where they don't share anywhere else, but I'm able to like kind of like make them feel good, right? I over deliver on their introductions, right? I want to make them feel so cool that they can be in a safe place where they can share everything they can.
100%. Paul, so one of my last questions, I ask it of every guest. So there's actually, well, you kind of answered one already, but this last one, I ask it of every guest. What is a fun fact about you that nobody knows?
Fun fact about me was that I did lose 70 pounds one time in my life, so my weight does fluctuate. It's again, that goes back to your determination, being able to really, if you want something, you go get it, right? I mean, there's at one point where I was at maybe, I think like 210, and I got dropped down to 140. I mean, that was too small though. I was like, I need some meat on me, man. But yeah, being able to like, again, some people look at some of my older pictures when I was as a party promoter, it was crazy because I was this big dude with 2 mohawks and with the gold grill. I'm walking around, so that's branding. Like people will like know who I am. I'm this big dude, 2 mohawks with a gold grill, and that was one of the things. But being able to again having that determination to get something done is something that I feel like is a very, very important. I don't even think it's a skill. It's just something that you have to believe in. Right? I mean, understanding that you can do it and be able to redo it again. Like when I lost 40 pounds, I knew I can do it. And I was also like, all right, I want to lose some 40 pounds right now. And so I started, in January, or actually after my birthday in December, and I was able to kind of get there at that point. And I feel great. And again, health is something that has been a great motivator, and just kicking off new things, being able to do more things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can attest to that, guys. So, in Arizona, me and Paul were hanging out, and Chris. It was me, Paul, and Chris, and hey, let's go get some tacos. Let's go get something to eat. Oh, yeah. And hey, Paul, he ain't no joke. He's a man of his word. I'm on a diet, and I didn't know. Oh no, I don't need. I think you're doing intermittent fasting, and after 6 o'clock, and we were out late, just hanging out and people watching and eating and drinking. Well, at least me and Chris were, but not Paul. He's like, no, man, I got to stick to this thing that he doesn't break. So he's a man of his word. true discipline. He did not
Yeah.
break on
And those
two.
tacos were so good. It smells so good. I was like, I had to people watch it, not watch you guys eat because it smelled so good. And I was like, I didn't want to. I mean, man, that was what a night, man. That was a crazy
Yeah.
ass night where when we actually that the thing broke down and we had to hop on
Oh yeah, the
another.
golf cart. Yes.
Yeah, great stuff. See, guys, this is one of the things that you should do if you go to when you go to these conferences, networking. You get to hang out with other people and meet new friends. Like right now, Alfredo's gonna be my friend for life. It's one of the things where it's one of those things that when you can be connected, but at the same time, when you have these other things outside the conference and just hanging out, being able to make an actual friend instead of someone just a colleague or network, it's gold, right? And it's
Yeah.
worth every penny for any conference that you go to.
100%, 100%. So love it, love it. Thank you, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Again, lifetime friend. If you need GMB pros for anything, guys, go out at the SEO video show. Is there anything, Paul, that you want to leave us with your last words that you want to promote? Did you want to stick in here? How can we follow you? I put on my face the live,
Mm-hmm.
your YouTube channel, your Facebook channel as well. Is there any other way or anything that you would like to plug in?
Right now, I guess it's the SEO video show. You can go to youtube.com/SEO video show. You'll find there. Google it. I better be number one. Search on YouTube. I better SEO video show. I better be number one there as well. So that's one of the things. I just find me there. Reach out. I would love to meet you guys. Just say you saw me on here. I would love to even whatever I have. When I have prizes, I do prizes. So again, I do a lot of things with other companies. So they'll send me things where I can send out and do giveaways. Whether you guys want anything, whether it's even Brighton SEO tickets or whatever books. I do a lot of giveaways, so be sure to come by and check it out. I do have a countdown where I can talk to you a little bit, then it goes into the actual show, and you can always ask questions live on there. So be sure to keep things active. That's one of the things that I do, meeting everyone and asking questions.
Awesome, awesome. With that being said, thank you, Vicky. Those that are on the Facebook Live, those that are catching the replay, appreciate everyone support. With that being said, guys, much love, much success, and I'll catch you on the next one.